All right, ladies and gentlemen, haven't done one of these in a little bit, so I figured now's the time to do it. No better time than the end of November. So we have the fancy serial number, kind of like market look here, all from eBay, all within the last 24-ish hours. 24 to 36 hours, somewhere around there. Lots of activity, a lot of cool stuff people are finding out there searching through straps, which is probably the best way that you're going to find a lot of these notes is going straight to the bank, asking for however much you need. Um, uh, these days, it's easier to ask for paper money than it is trying to ask for coin rolls. And as we all know, coin rolls, they're kind of hit or miss. And, you can say the same about paper money, but paper money, they're continually producing. And there's a lot of different serial number patterns that are actually quite equitable. All right. You could find something that looks at first glance pretty honest and just innocent looking at when you first look at it, and then when you begin to kind of like delve deeper into what the number is. It could be a birthday note. It could be four pairs. Which, by the way, that particular fancy serial number is starting to get a little bit more attention these days. And they're worth way more than face value. So we do have a number of them to address here today. But most importantly, none of the notes that we're going to talk about today are graded. All right. This is probably the one aspect of numismatics that I liked the best is paper money, fancy serial numbers don't have to grade. Whereas on the coin side, you could kind of make the argument that certain coins need to be graded to be sold. That's simply just not the case with fancy serial numbers because they're self-attributing. You know what a specific type of fancy is before you even go and sell it. And then because of the visuals of these pieces, and it's really easy to take pictures of these, by the way, you're gonna have a lot easier time selling them raw, because you're not looking for a specific nuance like a variety or a double to die or a mint error that you have to get under a magnifier to look. From top to bottom, you could sell any of these notes raw. All right, and that's cool. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. We have some of the usual sellers on the list. Ronald J.H., by the way, 2003 is one of those. He's probably a top 10 seller of fancy serial numbers on this platform. But we're going to kick things off here with a pairing of 2003 $1 bills. They're both appropriately dated 2003. They're just different blocks. All right. But the same serial number. I mean, these are fantastic. So we do have a sale price here of $85, 29 total bits. There was a lot of activity on this. On the items that were bid up organically through the auction system, when these end, they will have the end time in which these things sell at. So this one sold the 28th, 2 days ago, for $7. All right. Today, by the way, last day of the month. I threw out a little bit of an error on one of my last videos, the Pocket Change Market Report, to see if anyone would pick it up, and someone did, and so I awarded that person a gift from myself. So what I'm not going to address, and what I normally do, especially on like the PCMR, is I loop in and gang in the shipping costs. Because when you pay shipping, all right, you can't see it as an independent cost from actually the note itself or obtaining the item. Okay, you have to put it together, and that's the cost of ownership to get that piece to you. All right, so theoretically, this person owns this pair of binary serial number notes for $89.79. All right, but for to keep it brief, the brevity of the video, we're just going to go and use just the winning bid result, $85. So you're going to see this is an EF block here on the top. This is a CE block here on the bottom. So we have zeros and sixes on each one, and they're both matching. You have a pair of sixes, four zeros, and a 6-0 at the end. And these notes are unbelievably crackling fresh, out of pack, uncirculated notes. Very nice. Kind of feel like it probably went for a little bit of a bargain, but who am I to say? This is just a market for this given time for this pair of notes. And there's something to be said about sixes. They're not the most desirable number unless they're combined with like nines and all that, where you could, leverage rotators and flipper type of fancies in that regard. So, pretty nice way to kick things off here. Keep in mind that photographic presentation means the world, but sometimes it's not everything, all right? But it certainly helps your cause to show a good presentation. This is one of them right here. I probably could have done something a little bit different for my mainline photo, because it's exhibiting the note, curled and, just no care in the world about the overall presentation. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, this is a decent sale. Could have been a little bit higher. This is a true binary 2017 Ace, which features zeros and ones. And that's a true binary. Regular binaries or untraditional binaries are any combination of two numbers. Twos and eights, three and fives, things like that. But true binaries are zeros and ones, and these typically sell for a lot more money than the unconventional binary type fancies. So as you can see there, your zeros and ones quite attractive, and no reverse picture on this one. It's simply just the front of the picture and then that ultra close up. Again, when I talk about presentation, what I probably could have done is put this in between a couple books and just let it flatten out a little bit. So it's a little bit more presentable. It's not going to look like you just pulled it out of your wallet and took a picture. Albeit it's probably not going to be that big of a deal, but, one of the things that I pride myself on is the fact that you put a reverse picture. If there's a unsightly stain or, a teller mark or a marking of some kind, your buyers need to know about stuff like that. Since we're on the subject of binaries, I actually picked up a note. This is from Travis. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and use first name basis here. This is a 2017A $5 Fed Reserve note it's a true binary, but it's also a low serial number. So it's a PKB block, serial number 101. So for this note, because it's a combination of a low serial number and a true binary, this sells for a lot more money. I ended up paying the market value for it, $160. It's ungraded. It's pretty nice shape. No pinholes or anything like that. I would say it's a, kind of like a VF30 type grade, but, that gives you an idea that guys like me will go out and buy something like this. And this is for my personal collection. I paid the max amount of money for what this note's worth, but it also helps illustrate to each and every single one of you that maybe, might have reservations about this market and the viability of fancy serial numbers, to know that people like me pay what a note's worth, and that's important. And when people do that, then people will bid up items like the one that you see on screen here for $41. And who would have thought that a dollar bill that you find in change or in your wallet or your purse, you could turn around and make 40x profit on it? Not many people do. So the next note that we have here, actually another binary. Well, we have eights and nines. This is actually a very attractive note. 2013 $1 bill. This one sold for, again, a cheap one here, $21.50. However, take note at the end list, or the end time of the auction. 9:35 in the evening. Way too late to end an auction. Anything, keep it around 8 o'clock p.m. and under that. Because a lot of your buyers on these, they're going to be here stateside. So if you're on the East Coast and you're interested in this note, it's a pretty good possibility that you're already in bed. because it's after midnight at this point. It's gonna be what 12:35 in the morning, and it's on Wednesday or whatever it is. So, um, yeah, you have to kind of be strategic about your calendar and the time in which these things come up, because this note had plenty more room to make money. $21.50 off 8 bids. Hardly seems like, it maximized what it could. It's a very attractive note, eights and nines all the way across. And the note's in fine condition, it's like a VF 20, 25, level, somewhere around there. And that's good. For collectability, that's good. This is a note that probably could have sold for $40 or more, if the end time, kind of stayed within a reasonable, area, where people all across the country were still up trying to bid on this. So a little food for thought. We did have a number of those here today. Like, here's another one right here. Kind of crazy. Ended up selling at 10:15 at night Pacific Standard Time. Again, on the East Coast, you guys are, it's after 1 a.m. And I'm willing to bet that probably 85-90% of you are asleep at that point. It's like afford yourself the opportunity to make money on these that's commensurate to what you have. Because you're just going to give some other individual an opportunity to profit off of your piece. And you don't want to do that. You want to maximize it. $39, 20 bids on 7 of a kind fives. This is a note that I traditionally sell for between $80 and $100 all day long. There's just no reason why that you should be making only $39 on this note. That notwithstanding, not the best pictures. It's a vertical oriented type photo. You would probably want to do horizontal and make sure that it's working like that. But yeah, again, it's a fine note. 7 of a kinds are very desirable regardless of what numbers they are. Sure, fives, not the best, but still, that's a note that falls in that $80 to $100 range routinely. All right, so seeing the $39 sale kind of hurts my soul. Like, this could have sold for a heck of a lot more. Again, be mindful of the time. Here's another one right here. This is what they call price protect. It's a buy it now listing, free shipping, $17.50. Okay, the big, I guess, sales pitch for this one is the 4/8. Okay, and then you also have a couple of repeating 43s at the beginning. So it's almost like a hybrid. It's a $10 bill, so this person didn't make a whole ton of money, but they were comfortable selling it at $17.50. They probably profited after shipping and all that. I'm sure it's going to go in a plain white envelope. Probably $4.50. It's not a whole lot, but it goes into that same theoretical pot of money if you're doing this as a business. You got to put together all of your profits and just keep it all together. But it's pretty cool. If this was on a dollar bill, you're better off that way. It's probably still going to sell for about $15. So you make more money on lower denomination notes with fancies. All right, whereas once you get beyond fives, it's kind of tough, because that's your cost of ownership of the note, is whatever the face value of the note is. So take note of that. Here's a 2017 dollar bill. Another binary, zeros and eights. Great numbers, too, from Ronald. Sold at 7:10 at night on the 29th, which was just last night. $21.50. 16 bids. That's fine. There's a little close-up of the numbers. It's 8800, 8080. And this one's a little bit more raggedy. It looks to be about a fine condition note. It certainly does have a little bit more wear and tear here on this one. It could possibly have a few edge tears as well. One there, one here. So not the best condition note, but for what it's sold for, that's fair game there. That's that's maximizing the ceiling of a note of this type with that condition. So good job to Ronald there. Another one here. So we have our first radar or palindrome of the mix. This one is a 2017 Ace. So radar, the first four numbers read a certain way, and then the second set of four numbers to wrap up the whole serial number reads backwards. Once you get beyond that midway point. So 1128, 8211. This one sold for $27 with 15 bids. Lots of activity, not too shabby here. The overall note, not too bad. It's got a little bit of like teller ink or something like that here, bottom left margin. The back looks pretty decent, you know. Regular soiling, VF25-ish type grade. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, that's a good sale there as well. New seller from 865 Casey. We have, again, another 7 of a kind. Sevens, one of the more desirable numbers because it's a lucky type number for a lot of cultures, even here in America. 2017 $20 bill. And by the way, when I say America and all that stuff, keep in mind, fancy serial numbers on notes across the globe are just as valuable. So Canadian notes, notes in Great Britain, and all that stuff. You know, they do sell as well as what we have here on U.S. bills. So, so this one here sold for $65.89. 17 bids. The sale ended last night at 7:28 in the evening. That's fine. That's perfect. Based off of condition and presentation, I think this one's just fine. And it is a $20 bill. So, you know, it's okay. They did show, for accuracy, an edge split at the bottom right there. So that works, and that's good. You know, people have to know that sort of thing because the last thing you need, and because full transparency is greatly appreciative, you don't want these things to unwind and return. All right, because you know, just because you sell something and the money's in your kitty doesn't mean that you should just go and up and spend it because it's like, oh, I sold it, it's my money, and then come to find out that someone wants to return something, and then now you don't have that money to spend. We are, of course, in the holidays, so that's something that's really easy to do. All right, so this is a really solid sale on a note that's probably kind of like a VF20, 25. Another cool one here. Again, more price protection. This is a buy it now listing, $13.99. There's 5 eights in a row, right in the middle of the serial number. Eights, one of the best serial numbers, bar none, to collect. It's fancy and it's lucky. It's lucky in other cultures other than our own. So this $2013 bill, man, that's pretty good. And this is something that people do come across and they don't think about it. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to spend this dollar bill that otherwise I could have sold for 10, 15 bucks. And then that's kind of like one of the things that we as observant collectors, now that we're immersed in this, we know what to look for. Next one that we have here, really, it's close, but no cigar. $8 sale on this $2017 bill. It looks like a full super repeater till you get to the last two digits. It's 81. So it's 37373781, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, the almosts like this, you know, the almost ladder serial number, the almost super repeater, you know, there is such a thing as being close but no cigar, because they have some desirability. They have, you know, they have a little bit of value to them. Now, you're not going to realize the full $150, $200 for the thing, you know, even though you're off there. But, you know, $8 is still 8 times face value. You know, and again, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. So apparently this seller had 3 of these. They're probably all different blocks, but it's serial number 786 on these $19.99 bills. Had 3 of them at one point, sold through all of them at $49 a pop. They're uncirculated, they're beautiful, nice serial number, earlier note from 24 years ago. Good looking note there. 3-digit serial numbers are a good low serial number, still the standard. What we have up next here is a 4-digit repeater on a $2006 bill. It's also a trinary. It's got two sixes and nines. $40. This is a banging sale right here on this one. The note looks to be uncirculated, but it's 6299, and that's what they just call a repeater because it's 4 digits repeated twice. So good sale there. We also have this one, pretty similar to the previous note, 2013 $1 radar trinary, the same three freaking numbers, two sixes and nines. This one, however, sold for $19.99, and this one is not uncirculated like the previous note. 26966962. All right, so that is indeed a radar. Kind of jumbled there. This would fool a lot of people for sure. But that's awesome, so definitely keep an eye out for that. We have another binary, 2017 Ace. This one is a $20 sale. Call me crazy, but again, this is a sale that happened this morning at 5 a.m. Not a good time to sell these at that time or to end your auction. It's all right. It's a learning curve. There are worse notes that you could give away. This one, probably could have sold for 30, $40. Zeros and nines. And it's a true flipper too. So you could use that to your advantage. Put it into the description box. I'd probably get rid of the this here. The statistical percentage from my currency collection. While it's a cool statistic, it's not needed for this. Just put in binary, flipper, or rotator. Those are two major keywords here, and then you probably could have sold this for $40. A little food for thought, but this is something that's remedied later on after some trial and error. Good looking note. Again, this is a really solid VF, probably a 35. A rotator or flipper, when you turn a note upside down, because the font is the same, the nines read as sixes and the sixes read as nines. And the zeros are the same. They don't have a variance in the shape or size of those. We have a radar fancy, another trinary. We got threes, fours, and sixes on this $2009 bill. Another early morning sale at 6:17 in the morning, $7.50, 4 bids. Not the greatest condition note, but you can see 4-6 quad threes and then 6-4 to end out the serial number. But this one's like a fine condition, and it does have some sort of I don't know, just like a little bit heavier soiling on the right side of the note. Indicated that it was probably sitting in a wallet or something for a while. From the same seller, another one that's sold at the butt crack of dawn. $4.99 on a binary zeros and sixes. Again, it's a rotator too. A note that probably realistically could be another $30, $40. This one stings a little bit more than any of the other ones. Because of the possibilities. There's just a lot left off of here other than binary. You put rotator, flipper, things like that. It's sold way too early this morning. So, keep that in mind, guys. Be mindful of not only your end times, because whatever time you list it will be the time that it ends at on that 5th day or that 7th day, or however long you designate your auction. From same seller, another one that sold early this morning before 7 o'clock. We have 4 pairs. This is what we call 4 pairs. $5.09, 5 bids, 00, 55, 33, 55. All right, 4 pairs, all in line there. All right. We have another. Oh man, this thing is crazy. 2017A. It's an early sale, but they did price protect it by starting it at a specific price that is acceptable to the seller. Zhang Zhan Hang, 1981, 2012. 2017A, $1 bill. Zeros and nines. It's a binary. It's a radar. It's a flipper rotator as well. There's a lot to love here. I think they did really good with the price protection. What they kind of did not do very good at is rotating the note and orienting it so that way, it's easier for the viewer experience of the whole thing. And again, eBay's editing tool, you could rotate your images before you hit submit to make your listing go live. So make sure you take advantage of that. It's just easier for everyone else. Some people will say, "Oh, I don't care. You're going to be able to still see it anyways." So I'm like, okay, whatever. And one of the bigger sales of the week is this 2017 $20 bill. The main photo is the picture of the back of the note. Uh, the money shot is in the front. So you take a picture of the front of the note, and what's crazy is this one sold for 107.50, 15 bids. It's still sold very respectably. That's what you got there. 7 in a row twos. I mean, I would have used this as my main picture for the listing. And you could adjust it in your editing tool. I would, at the worst, use this one here, and then not lead off with the back of the note. But yeah, I mean, that is a killer sale on this note. That is well within range for a 7 in a row. It's kind of like 100 to a buck and a quarter. They could go higher than that if you have like a better condition note, if you have sevens or eights, or maybe even seven of a kind zeros, because that also indicates that it might be a low serial number as well. That's a killer note. All right, so we do have a few notes that had some best offer options on there. We have this binary ones and zeros on this dollar bill. So they were originally asking $46.98. So we're gonna copy and paste the listing title into 130 point. Great website to use if you can't pull up whatever the pricing data is on best offer accepted type stuff. Then you could use this website to grab that information. And the site is generally used for sports cards, so it works just the same way for paper money. $45. That's great. That's perfect. That's well within range for that note. Well done. Right there. And we also have this pair of dollar bills, trinary, zeros, sixes, and nines, and they're both flipper rotators. So because you got nines and sixes in there. $59.99 was the original sale price. One's a star note, the other one is an LD block. All right, you can see that there right on the left side of the screen. Very cool. I love it when people are able to, and they're both this. One's a 2017, the other's a 17A. So two different series dates. So let's go ahead and again on this one, we're going to copy and paste things here. No better time to get into fancy serial number hunting, guys. There's plenty to go around. And a lot of people are having some pretty good success finding what they need. 50 bucks, $49.99. Great deal. Great deal on that one. Pretty neat too. It could have probably sold for more because of the whole rotator flipper factor, and that wasn't, placed in the listing title. So yeah, really neat. And then finally, we have a birthday note. We're going to end things off here on a birthday note, which is correctly oriented to the Western way. 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, 4 digits for the year. So this one reads August 31st, 1959. Does someone have a birthday on that day? That's why this one sold. Original asking price, 60 bucks. And it is a $10 bill, higher denom. So you want to try and make more money on this one. So let's go ahead and check and see what our best offer accepted price is. And that's going to go ahead and do it. 45 bucks. Great job. That's well done. It's a little bit higher than what typical birthday notes run. Correctly oriented birthday notes I've seen sell for between $20 and $30. The last one that I bought for my daughter's birthday, I paid $29.99 for, worth every penny. And that's the beauty about the hobby and collectability, is that things that traditionally we wouldn't think would sell for more than face value all of a sudden becomes kind of a reality, and that's where you guys need to kind of like put into perspective how this can be very, very fun. It can be a great experience, and it could possibly make you guys some pretty good money. You know, if you do it as a find and resell type affair. So yeah, pretty cool. That's going to go ahead and do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys for coming on board to take a look at some fancy serial number sales on these bills. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Happy hunting if you're going to do this. And happy holidays as well. Merry Christmas.